Hello YouTube, my name's Phil, and today I have some Titanfall gameplay for you from the Xbox 360. This is actually my second ever go on it. So if the gameplay is nothing special to watch, that's kind of why. I mean, obviously it's the whole bang average thing anyway, but yeah, I do hope you enjoy the gameplay. I think, for me personally, on the Xbox 360, it doesn't look vast worse than it does in the Xbox One, you know? I mean, yeah, you can notice it in some of the textures, and okay, yeah, I've got it running at a consistent 30 frames a second. The reason this isn't my first game of Titanfall on the Xbox 360 is because I did it on the variable FPS, and that results in a little bit of screen tearing and slowdown at times. And at other times it's perfectly wonderful and runs at sort of what appeared to be about 45 frames a second. Then it also seemed to drop to about 15. So I've got it capped at the 30 FPS, which just sort of seems to work. It's perfectly smooth, doesn't feel like any different to anything else from an Xbox 360 sort of game. And to be honest, it's been really nice going back to my Xbox 360 because one thing I will say about the PlayStation 4 is the controller is very good. It's nowhere near as good as an Xbox 360 controller. So yeah, I have been enjoying using that. And anyway, what I thought, YouTube, was I thought I would sort of talk to you guys and do like a Titanfall related topic. Now, this has been sitting on my computer for a week or so, and I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with it. And I was thinking, well, how can I make commentary? What sort of commentary would everyone want to see? And I thought, well, should I do a review? Because everyone's kind of seen what the game is like on PC and Xbox One. Should I kind of review it for an Xbox 360? And I'm not really a review kind of guy. And then I thought, well, okay, well, so what's going on with the game itself, and you know, sort of how it's being treated. And you notice, well, certainly I noticed there seemed to be like an awful lot of people in the YouTube and Twitch communities that were very kind of, we are going to be your number one source for Titanfall. We're going to do this and so on. It's kind of Battlefield and COD guys, isn't it? And then they kind of released one video on it, and then realised that, if you kind of build your channel on one game, then you have a certain very specific target audience, and you get less views, basically. So they then didn't do it again, which just seems to be fucking nuts. So I thought I would talk to you guys about building a community, I guess, with a new game, with a new IP. Now, I'll be honest, right, so Titanfall was like a mental hype train. I mean, all this shit that Respawn came out with, and we're like, oh yeah, well, it is a new IP, isn't it? And we're really up against it because it's a new IP. Yeah, but like EA spent billions on the marketing. Like, the game was never going to fail. It was always going to sell well, and that's fair enough. And ultimately, yes, it's a very well constructed, very smooth, excellent game, which has got a decent netcode, had been a decent release. Respawn look like they're actually supporting the game properly. It's all sorts of goodness. Okay, so yeah, genuinely, like, if you were considering whether or not to buy the game, I would recommend it. Purely sort of, right, okay, so this isn't a review, but purely from like if you are not necessarily the world's best player, as I am not, it's a very good game to play for your self-esteem. I went 42-2 the other day because, frankly, like, the bots that are involved in it help keep the gameplay flowing enough. They're literally no sort of challenge whatsoever, but they keep the gameplay flowing enough that you can traverse the map well and keep getting the kills and all the rest of it. Anyway, okay, so that's enough of the review stuff. So yes, so the community side of it. Okay, so the game has been released. It's been very, very good. Okay, lots of people were interested. Lots of people were keen. The people that have reviewed it and have stuck with it and are creating content for it have always been very nice about it. And to be fair, the people that certainly the people that I saw that made a video and then dropped it like it was hot, still seem to like the game very, very much. They just stopped uploading it because it was didn't get as many views and what have you. So I guess the thing with Titanfall, the thing that's really going to kind of push its longevity in any sort of stretch of the game, is about how it creates its community. Now, Scanner Barkley did a really interesting video about this recently, talking about how esports will create a community. Now, personally for me, esports is not a thing. I genuinely have no interest in it whatsoever. I couldn't tell you who the teams are for Battlefield 4. I could probably tell you that there's Phase and Optic that do COD. That's about as far as it goes. And the only reason I know about those is because, people take the piss out of them for their trick-shotting tomfoolery. Yeah, so like I have no interest in esports, is my point. So I don't believe that actually esports is what creates a community. I genuinely don't. I think there are all sorts of other things that create a community, and esports are part of it. The biggest thing that creates community, obviously, is the population of the player base. So it needs people to be playing the game consistently. Now, funnily enough, as I record this, it's about 8:45 in the morning. I had to get up with the boy this morning. He needed feeding. That was about 5:30. I turned my Xbox on at about 6:10. And yeah, it was pretty well populated, so that was good. And I had a reasonable connection, so it wasn't like everyone was in New Zealand or what have you, and I was running off like mental ping. It was, I had a decent connection to it, so it was obviously people nearer to that. So yes, so that's a big form about the community. That's it's all about how the player base kind of gets involved and keeps things going. That's probably the most important part. All right, the rest of it is fucking fluff. Do you know what I mean? Because developers, will pay YouTubers and streamers and what have you to promote their stuff, but ultimately, if people don't buy it and play it, that's wasted money, isn't it? I mean, look at Battlefield 4. The community is not poisonous. I mean, poison is a strong word, but it's not fantastic. Like you go and sit on like the Reddit for Battlefield 4, and it's not necessarily a particularly welcoming place all the time, because people are fucked off with the game, and it doesn't matter how much EA pay YouTubers and streamers because of Ronka and all the other crap. The game doesn't work very well, so people aren't playing it very much. So actually, yeah, the community isn't necessarily dying off or anything like that, but they're certainly getting pissed off. And it doesn't matter how much EA are throwing at people. So anyway, coming back to the point, the big things behind the community with Titanfall is they need the big player base. There does need to be a level of people creating content and what have you, and keeping people interested. So I know there's some people that that make news videos and bits and pieces on it. And yeah, because I think what happens is otherwise you end up with a game like this. This is potentially going to be an example of it. But Crisis is a huge example. Crisis 3, people went nuts for it. They went crazy for sort of how the game looked, the fact that it was in open beta, loads of people were playing the beta, and so on. And it looked like it was going to be a tremendously successful game. And then what happened was people bought it, then realised that it's not an easy game to play. It's not sort of as straightforward as COD or Battlefield or what have you. It's difficult and all the rest of it. And it died. It just died very, very quickly. And that's disappointing. So I hope that Titanfall doesn't suffer the same fate just because it's different. And, just because it's different, your favourite YouTuber doesn't upload it because of the views. Anyway, YouTube, I do hope very much you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to be uploading more of this because it's fun as fuck. And if you have an Xbox 360, I would heartily recommend you buy the game. It's great. If you click the link in the middle, that'll take you to Scanner's video talking about what I said. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Take care, good night, good afternoon, and good day.